to another episode of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from The Moog Show on 91X. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura from Karl Strauss.
Sabro.
What?
Sabro.
Oh.
Sabro hops.
Sabro.
Sabro hops.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sabro.
Well, all right. You learn
Even
something new
Sabro?
every day. Apparently not. I don't know. And today we have Culver Beer Company with us. We have co-founders Mike and Ben with us. Welcome, guys.
Thanks
for having us.
This is Mike's back. You came back.
You came back, yeah. You didn't scare us away.
I'm glad that I didn't scare you off from Rhythm and Brews.
No,
so
not
thanks
at
for
all.
coming back.
Thanks for having us.
So you guys are about to celebrate a really, really awesome anniversary. But before we get into this, what are we drinking right now?
Right now we're drinking our new IPA we just put on top. It's called Lokers Only. We're on Loker Avenue, and it's a Mosaic Idaho 7, really easy drinking IPA. Very low bitterness, huge fruit forward. We're pretty happy.
I love the name and I love the beer.
Well,
Nice,
so
thank
I
you.
love the name because my co-host John Moog on the Moog Show, we just finished up doing a promotion, and he kept trying to say one lucky local winner, and he kept putting it together as Loki.
Yeah, okay.
And so it turned into this fun little thing of like, you know, a lucky local is going to be a Loki from now on.
You
so
can say it pretty good.
See,
Yeah,
you're
pretty
already
good at
on it.
I want to be Thor's brother.
Right? Who doesn't?
Yeah, we always try to come up with like new names, but at the last minute we're like, well, let's just throw some up on the board. And our buddy Blake from Pizza Fort was like, Lokers Only. That'd be a good
Oh,
one.
he named it? Oh, nice. Yeah, we're not the...
There you go.
We
So,
crowdsource
shout out
our
to him.
names.
I'm burping up a lot of good hoppiness from that. Like, I love this beer. It's got all the hop flavor I want, and just the right amount. But
Yeah.
it's not bitter. It's hoppy.
It's very, just hop forward, heavily dry hop, very little bittering hops in this one, just enough to balance it out.
Roasted the hell out of it.
Yeah, all Whirlpool,
Nice.
all Mosaic in the kettle, and then dry hopped with Mosaic and Idaho 7. They go together really nicely.
So you kind of touched on something that I'd like to talk about a little bit more. How do you describe to a beer drinker the difference between bitter and hoppy?
Yeah, they're definitely confused a lot of the times, because that's what we always say if somebody comes in. The hazy IPAs have done a good job at that, where it's not very bitter, but it's very hop forward. But it's just about educating them that it's not an old school West Coast IPA, you know. And the cool thing is all those flavors are just from hops. There's no fruit added or anything. So
With Mosaic, it's easy because you could say, well, there's like orange and passion fruit and, you know, all these different fruit flavors in there. Are you tasting that? Good, because that's what the hop tastes like.
exactly.
And if you're tasting those and not getting bitter beer face, then it's hoppy. But
I would agree.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I tasted beers that were just straight up bitter, but you'd get little hop flavor.
Well, it's
The
also with like the perceived bitterness and all that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm talking to people at the tasting room, it's usually the hazies have a higher IBU, but it's not necessarily perceived bitter.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I always get the people who come into the brewery, because I work over at Thorn Brewing, and I get the, you know, like, what are you drinking? What do you like? Oh, like, I don't like hoppy beers. And every time I'm like, all right, is it that you don't like hoppy beers or you don't like bitter beers? Because
100%.
realistically, you love hops. You love them. This is where you're getting all the flavor. I was like,
Yeah.
but maybe it's the bitter. So I always like to just kind of see how other people, you know, cross that
Or
bridge.
how they phrase it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because when people say that, I'm just like, when I don't like coffee beers, it's just like, try some of this. You might like
Yes.
it, you know.
And I love when you don't tell them what it is. They're like, oh, what is this? It's an IPA.
It's an IPA. Yeah.
So what was the ABV on that beer?
That one was low, 6.2%, really
Seriously?
crushable.
'Cause
Yeah.
I drank like a session.
It goes down easy.
Super crushable.
Fermented,
Nice and
super
light,
cold.
easy, yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with this one.
What are we on to now?
The Greenstone IPA. So we touched on this a little bit when you came last time, but I'm glad that you brought this back because I want to dive into it a little bit more because it
Cool.
was a really, really good beer.
So this one's a hoppy lager. It's a New Zealand style Pilsner. So the single hop Motueka.
It smells like white wine. I get like a Riesling or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can see that.
What variety of New Zealand did you use?
This one was
Motueka, yeah.
Motueka,
Motueka.
single hopped. And then we used German lager yeast in this one. And then didn't want to be too bitter. We didn't want to call it an IPA, scare away, the lager drinkers. But this one's been popular in the tasting room.
that's
Yeah, this
Keeping
one's
it
like
around.
So what would
definitely
you
like a bestseller
what would
for
you
us.
would have changed it for it to not be a New Zealand Pilsner for it to be an IPA? What would have been the difference?
We probably would have bumped up the ABV and as well as the amount of bittering hops that we threw into it. But we wanted to be just super sessionable, easy drinking.
So it tastes nothing like it smells. It smells like white wine, and then you get this really nice malty flavor coming from it, like
Environment.
biscuit and
The German Pilsner, the Bohemian Pilsner, we
I love that
use
malt.
that one just to
Yeah.
have that nice bready backbone to it all.
yeah, it's bread and
So-
toast and biscuit.
Dude, it's all good.
Most of
Yeah,
what
it's beautiful.
we're gonna
Yeah.
keep this one year round for sure. This one's going quick.
Yeah, I'm sure this is good. And I mean, it would be so easy to graduate from this over to like, a Nelson IPA, and you wouldn't.
For sure.
It wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, like you just gave me an IPA. Ah.
Right.
I think that the two bridge over very well.
So this would be an easy one recipe-wise to use some really nice Oregon Yakima Valley hops too, like Equinaut. Put this in there.
Any of those like light-bodied like beers that you can add different hops to, I feel like are the ones that
Do I
really
hear a
excel. You
potential
know?
series
Yeah,
coming
maybe
out?
I
Do
even
hear
you
a
know like
potential
Yeah.
series
Just
maybe?
showing off the hop, single hop lager.
Why
The base
not?
beer
Yeah.
is fully allowing the hops
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just pop through. I would use this as like a template for single hop beers.
Exactly. That's what we're planning on doing.
Rad.
So no, I'm a big fan of this. People get bummed when we run out of it for sure. Yeah.
I'm sure. So let's talk about the tasting room a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys are about to celebrate your 3rd anniversary.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, June 15th.
So what's going on? What's the story? What? I was talking to some people in the building, like, "Ooh, who do you have for beer for breakfast today?" I was like, "Culver Beer Company," and they're like, "I haven't heard of them yet." And I was like, "Well, I was like, tune into Beer for Breakfast
Yeah.
because I've had their beer and it's delicious."
The deli's kind of a new thing, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we opened up the deli in March. So we're open at 11 a.m. every day, except we're closed on Mondays. So
So we can come down here.
yeah, so we can come down
Cool.
here and drink some beers.
Glad to
and
have
all.
you.
But yeah, it's been going really well. We have a full menu, and June 15th, we're having our 3-year anniversary. It's going to be a tropical luau theme.
Nice.
We're going to do a nice Hawaiian plate lunch in the back. Our chef Matt.
I'm ready.
You're already ready.
Yeah,
to
you're
go.
ready,
Look
dude.
at
I'm ready to go.
You got the memo.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a big old barbecue out back. It should be a good time. Yeah. We got
Cool.
a bunch of specialty beers that Mike's working on right now. And
So Hawaiian barbecue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Hawaiian
like
barbecue.
some Kahlua pig on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
They wouldn't let us
Some-
dig a hole in the ground.
Ah.
Pretty pissy.
For anyone that hasn't been to the tasting room, what's the easiest way to find you guys?
We're 1 block east of El Camino Real and Palomar Airport Road. We're pretty close to Virgin, Carlsbad Brewing Company just opened up, and of course Pizza Port Brescia Ranch is right there. So
It's a good spot.
in that
Yeah.
collection,
Right on.
right next to the Brescia Ranch community. So just kind of tucked away in a little business park over there, but pretty easy to find. So yeah, we're open at 11 a.m. With the weekdays and noon on the weekends. So
So
serving
your
all-
hours changed when you open up the deli, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a cool
Right.
thing for
So
us.
So we went back to the city, and there wasn't any stipulations with the hours on the deli, so we had to ask for earlier hours with the brewery, and kind of goes hand in hand, you know.
Yeah.
Well, totally.
So-
I mean, I've been to the tasting room once before, and you guys are in the middle of just like a bunch of businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're stoked. I'm sure they're like, yeah, like I can get a sandwich, I can get a beer. I go back way happier than when I
Oh yeah,
left.
Totally.
There are
They're way
best
more
customers.
productive at work. The-
Yeah, their productivity goes
Yeah.
up like, exponentially for sure.
So yeah, just being located in the business central area, just something different for those people to eat. It's not Subway, it's not anything else over there. It's a quality deli sandwich and a beer. So
And the thing too, like I think a lot of the people that we get, like we were talking about this earlier with like loyal like regulars, is that they see Mike and I there a lot. They see all of our like tasting room employees, and they like to come and hang out, and they see how we're doing, and they're like, "Oh, how's your life?" And all.
we made a lot of friends. in the
And,
tasting
yeah,
room.
it's like
Yeah.
they're like more of our friends than just regulars. So I think that's the nice like camaraderie that everyone has, and especially in the
into a
beer world.
family.
Yeah, it really does.
It really
yeah.
does. It's cool.
Well, your beers are solid so far.
Thank
So
you.
this lager's got a slight veil to it. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm guessing you just like fine it, right?
We do biofine on that one,
Rad.
and then it was it has some hop haze left over in it because we do dry hop it with
Do
the
you,
Mocha
do you guys
Mocha.
feel like the haze craze has allowed us to do unfiltered lagers?
For
Like,
sure.
People just don't drink with their eyes so much anymore.
100%? Like the fact that every beer is not crystal clear on the marketplace anymore is a little crazy.
Back in the day, if you had a lager, it had to be crystal clear, and people are going to go, I
don't want
what's
this.
going on. Yeah,
or
right.
they'll just think it tastes weird. you
Right.
know?
Well,
But
even
this
like
is
when
beautiful.
we first opened, we had a couple like great IPAs that weren't crystal clear, and people would come in, they were like, "Oh, I think there's something wrong with this one." We're like, and now people can't get enough of that. It's just like,
Like, hey,
oh, how
where's
the
the
times
Merc?
change. Yeah.
People equate it with freshness or something now. No?
Yeah.
It's all good. You know, I'm stoked.
Sometimes with the hazy IPAs, you know, after a while they'll settle out. We'll go shake the keg to make it hazy again.
Which is
But
so funny, like as a beer
It
tender.
is.
Anytime somebody like goes and moves the keg, it's
Yeah.
at the bottom, like,
It
no!
took so long to settle out.
Look at the head retention on this last one.
This one is like our staple IPA. We've had it on for a while. Simcoe Centennial Cascade, 6.7%. It's got some Vienna malt in it, so the color's a little darker than the last two we did.
Wow.
I like this one quite a
Vienna
bit.
malt and an
Streetwalker.
IPA, right on.
Yeah, I like the logo that was drawn on that. It could have gone another way, but yeah.
So adding a
I'm kind of
Vienna,
surprised there's not an El Cajon Boulevard sign on the back of it.
so adding Vienna to an IPA, you wanted to give it a little bit of a biscuity thing in there, like an old school IPA.
Yeah, but not with the crystal
Oh.
malt. You know, I wanted
okay.
a little bit of the color, a little bit of the toastiness, but not like that sweetness that comes across. So a little bit of Munich, a little bit of Vienna, then Pale and Pilsner. We've kind of stacked up the base malt on it. But the Simcoe comes through.
Yeah, this is.
It's just a West Coast single IPA,
Dude,
you know?
But I
comes
feel like
through.
Yeah.
we've forgotten what this tastes like a little bit. I feel like we've kind of forgotten this style of IPA, and I'm like,
For
oh
sure.
yeah, I remember
Remember these?
again.
Yeah.
I
There's this
remember.
fourth ingredient in beer. It's called malt. It's kind of cool.
Exactly.
No, people. This is like one of our best-selling beers, and people love it because it is like kind of an old school throwback to that IPA.
It
Yeah,
reminds me a little bit of the resilience recipe that came out for the Sierra Nevada Resilience Campfire.
Definitely.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Like
Yeah.
it's that's good too.
So yeah, we keep this one on tap. This is we only have one or two beers that we really keep around year round, and this is one
This
of
is
them.
one of them?
Yeah. Definitely.
So do you find like after 3 years, you guys brew a lot of different beers, right? That you might launch a new beer and then people are, oh, you got to make this year round.
all the time?
And
yeah.
then you got to resist
And
that
that's our
urge.
problem, yeah. Like being like,
Because
oh,
then
damn, we have to take this
after a
off.
while, you end up with all these flagship beers, and then you can't make other new creative stuff.
You want to take one off, but you have the loyal group of people
Yeah,
that drink the
and
ninth
people get
wonder, but like
bummed out,
it's going
yeah.
to go away for a little bit. So
Well, I would assume that Carl Strauss, you guys have encountered this.
We get people
many
all the time
times.
asking us to brew beers that we haven't brewed for a long time, and we're like, well, yeah,
man, where's that Calico?
we're stoked that you like that beer. So Calico, Ballast Point, they deal with it too. Every brewery that's
Yeah.
open for,
Yeah.
like you guys 3 years, you guys probably have
There's
this beers that you've brewed before that people are asking you to do again.
There's this guy, yeah, and he comes in. We made a beer called Bird Call. It was a
Oh, yeah.
cream ale, and he still asks for it. And I was like, dude, we're never
3
bringing it
years
back.
ago.
Oh, every time I go
sorry, I
to
want
fall,
to.
No, you
I
can't tell
can't.
them you're never bringing it back. So, yeah, we'll brew
Keep
that
them
next
coming.
week.
Yeah.
Next
We'll
week,
think about
dude.
it. We'll let the
every
owners
time I go
know.
to fall, I hit up Dave Lively. I'm like, so that unicorn stampede, when's that coming back? And he's like, Danielle, I'm not bringing that beer back. Stop asking me. And I'm like, but it was so good.
Your customers
right.
demand it.
Like,
I
look
love
at you, Dave.
So that's one thing we're going through right now is like we just because we're there all the time, we got kind of bored of a few beers on the board, and they're just going to go away. And we're going to we have a double IPA called the True Hero that's awesome, but we just kind of want to mix it up, and we know we'll get some shit for it.
Yeah, we've noticed like when someone wants to, or like their favorite beer is off tap, they find a new favorite
Quickly.
pretty
Oh,
quickly.
yeah.
You know,
Quickly.
so it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have that beer, but we do got these, and yeah.
Does Culver distribute?
We self-distribute very lightly around
Okay.
just North County.
Yeah.
We probably have about 40 accounts that we kind of just keep up with. We're trying to grow it up a little bit, but
I wouldn't say 40 is very lightly.
Not
40
at
is
all.
like-
Not at all.
that's all we
a
can really
good-
maintain at our scale right
that's
now.
cool.
And
Yeah,
then,
no, it's working out really well, and it's mostly just for the accounts we have like all the time. We want to make sure they have our beers, so it's kind of just keeping that stockpile.
Do we maybe see canning in the future to happen?
we're definitely playing with the idea. We did a
yeah.
specialty release and a 4-pack cans, and we were pretty happy with the results.
right.
So we want to get going on
Yeah,
that.
we did
but
this glass right here up front. It was called Animal Hour, and it was like a nice 7% hazy. So
Oh, nice.
good
Oh,
beer.
dig that glass.
Yeah.
I really love the direction that everybody's going in the cans and getting away from the bottles because it's so much easier to take with you to
Oh, yeah.
the can, and the retention that you get of the can is so good. It's
For
not
sure.
doesn't have that like you know how beers used to in a can have that weird taste.
Oh, yeah,
They don't
no.
seem to have that taste anymore because we've gotten to this point with the aluminum. Like I'm all about beers in cans.
And just
For
the
sure.
amount of space you have for the artwork, you can really make
Yeah.
it pop.
Kind of deck it out.
Right.
So that's one of our goals
And
for
the
the year.
crowlers.
Crowlers are cool. We
Crowlers
sell
are
a lot
rad.
of crowlers.
Yeah.
Speaking of artwork, who does your guys' artwork? Because it's really, really creative.
Yeah, he's a good friend of both Mike and I. His name's Spencer Ramsey, and he
trippy
worked.
dude.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I went to high school with him. I've
Does he
known
work
him
for beer?
Yeah. Oh no.
No.
He used to when we first started. Yeah. Damn it. But yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's worked with a bunch of skate companies, and like he's very creative, and
He's got a unique style.
he has that whole cartooning
No,
ability,
that-
and
it's-
yeah, we really enjoy working
It's a
with
cool logo. This is totally, throw that on a T-shirt, and
Yeah.
it's.
They already have.
him.
But you know what I mean? It's one of those logos that you're like, oh, like what is that? It catches your eye, and it's a conversation starter.
So
Yeah, and on our coasters, like at our like distribution accounts, like they see that, and people are just like, "Oh, what is this?"
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's almost like Simpson-y
Do
kind of.
people ever think you're like from Culver City?
all the
Is there-
time.
Definitely in the beginning a lot, and then now that we're 3 years in, people have kind of established that we're in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
But for instance, we've gotten grain shipped to Culver City homebrew before.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh!
So
Oh,
we definitely
no.
suffered from that.
So you guys have a great relationship by now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got a bunch of
Where's
grain.
that ultimate collab gonna happen?
Yeah.
So
Really
No, but I
mess
mean,
everybody up.
At first, now it's just a matter of like letting people know that we are where we're at, and people have kind of figured it out now, 3 years in.
And it was just a super throwback to Carlsbad, the gentleman who did all the architecture for all the Victorian houses in downtown Carlsbad, what they're famous for. His name was Alonzo Culver. So we just want to do a super
Yeah.
throwback to Carlsbad where we're at.
Yeah.
And so, like, so Spencer was kind of like, hey, let's play on that whole idea. And he's like, let's just create all these characters, and this will be like Mr. Culver and his award-winning tiger and all this kind of like
my
weird,
God.
yeah, like, and like he started really going down this wormhole, and I'm like,
I feel
all
like
right.
you guys were like sitting in a circle while this was happening. Maybe
promise we
things
were.
were going
Late
on.
nights,
I
yeah.
don't
You know, they're
know.
locally toasted.
Yeah,
I thought we talked about that. It's about the bread being toasted.
and locally
there.
baked.
Oh, okay,
lovely, but-
it's about the bread.
It's about
yeah,
the bread.
It's about the bread.
About the bread. Oh my gosh. All right. So, Mike, Ben, thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank
one
you.
more time about the anniversary that's happening on the 15th. Do we need a special ticket? Do we need
No tickets. It's just kind of first come, first serve deal.
show up and party?
show up.
Show
Yeah,
up party.
show up
We have a
party.
big outdoor temporary patio that we're doing for that. We'll have 4 specialty beers, June 15th. Should be a pretty good time. All our anniversaries have been really fun in the past, so
Yeah.
it's nice to see everybody come together and celebrate with us.
And
Roll
your guys'
out.
tasting room is really cool too. It's got like a really cool vibe to it. Like it's
low-key.
just super chill.
Yeah, it's
you
mellow,
know,
yeah.
it's no pretension. No, I felt like I was like hanging out at my friend's house.
That's
Like
fine.
hanging out in my friend's garage, drinking beer.
That's a good feeling.
That
No,
is
it
a great
is.
feeling,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
cozy. People stick around for a couple beers, so.
Right
Dog
on.
friendly.
Yes, dog friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. You can bring Maryland.
dogs.
I will be bringing Maryland. Well, of course, you know they give us a service.
Yeah.
We don't ask for the service.
There you go.
Oh, Mike, Ben, thank you so much for stopping
Yeah,
by
thank
here
you
for
guys for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate
Congrats on
it.
3 years.
Thank
Yes,
you, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations. And remember, every Friday, Paul comes on the Moke Show around 9:05 and tells you what you should be drinking this weekend. And we're going to be plugging Culver Beer Company pretty hard.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Just saying, not saying. So thank you so much, and cheers to independently owned craft beer.
Cheers. to
Cheers.
that.
Empty glasses.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Mike was on it. He
I
said,
topped it
"Screw
off,
you guys.
yeah.
I need beer.
91X.